Today, we're talking about the general tax deadlines every business needs to know for 2024. Let's get into it. Hello there, I'm Alicia, your biz compliance advocate, and I am all about helping you win at business through learning and implementing compliance strategies. This is what every successful business that's operating powerfully with peace of mind is doing, and I want you in on the compliance secrets that will help keep your business strong and powerful for years to come. Part of that is taxes. We got to do it. We cannot get away from it. So here's what we need to know about tax filings for 2024. This video is going to cover federal tax deadlines. There are 50 states. So I'm not able right now to get into the detailed nitty-gritty deadlines for every single state. But I'm going to at least let you know what you need to know for the federal government and give you some pointers for knowing what to do with those state tax filings as well. And give you some pointers on what to do regarding knowing the state tax filing deadlines as well. First, we're going to talk about income taxes. The income tax filing deadline is April 15th for all of us. If you have a C corporation, you will be filing Form 1120 by April 15th. If you are a sole proprietor or an LLC, those of us who are part of partnerships or are shareholders, where we get certain tax forms from the business for reporting our own income or dividends from our business, we will declare that on our personal tax returns as well. In a bit, or throughout the video, we're going to talk about tax forms that your business may need to give to shareholders, owners, partners, and whatnot. But C corporations are going to file Form 1120 for their income tax return filing. For those of us who are sole proprietors or single member LLCs, we will fill out Schedule C on our Form 1040 for our business taxes. Now, S corporations actually have to file the Form 1120-S. It's an information return. The S corporation itself passes the taxes to shareholders. So in order for shareholders to be able to pay their portion of the business taxes on time, S corporations are required to file a Form 1120-S by March 15th and issue a Schedule K-1 to the shareholders by March 15th, so that then shareholders can do their tax filings on time by April 15th. The reason why corporations file a separate tax return and actually pay taxes is that corporations are the only business entity, C corporations rather, let me qualify. C corporations are the type of business entity where the corporation itself is an entity that pays taxes on its own. All other businesses are considered pass-through entities. Well, sole proprietors, general partnerships, the owners are the business. But for those of us like LLCs, certain types of partnerships, and S corporations, the business passes the tax on through to the shareholders, the income tax that's due to the shareholders. Businesses can also request an extension to file their tax return the same as we can on our personal taxes. Single member LLCs and sole proprietors can request an extension using Form 4868. Multi-member LLCs, corporations, and partnerships can request an extension using Form 7004 or 7004. Now, that doesn't exempt you from paying the tax that you know you owe. It just gives you an extension for filing the actual return, okay? All partnerships, except for S corporations, must also file a Form 1065. So S corporations file an information return called the Form 1120. The Form 1120 is an overview of the income and whatnot of that business and the losses, dividends paid to shareholders and whatnot. The version of that all other partnerships are required to do, multi-member LLCs, general partnerships, limited partnerships, and limited liability partnerships, is going to be Form 1065. You have to file this form not to pay taxes for the business, but to declare certain information regarding your business finances to the federal government every single year. Just like the Form 1120S, the Form 1065 is due by March 15th of every single year. And then all of your shareholders or partners or members are going to get a Schedule K1 of the Form 1065 so that they can include their own responsibility for the taxes of the business in their personal 1040s. For shareholders of C corporations, they will be issued a Form 1099 Div. So for all other partnerships, those partners get a Schedule K1 to report their own income from the business and their responsibility for the tax liability. However, shareholders of a C corporation get a Form 1099 Div regarding the dividends that they received so that they can pay the applicable taxes. The deadline for the 1099 Div to the shareholders is January 31st. And then the transmittal form for the 1099 Div is due to the government. If mailed, it has to be postmarked by February 28th. If it's going to be e-filed, it can be done by March 31st. So whenever you're issuing 1099s and W-2s, which I'll review this again in a moment, you have to send the government, the federal government, a summary of the 1099s that you issued for the year. So the 1099 Div for each individual shareholder goes to the shareholder by January 31st. If you're mailing the transmittal form, it has to be postmarked by February 28th. And if you're going to e-file it, you can e-file by March 31st. Similarly, employers who've issued W-2s and 1099s must give those W-2s and 1099s to their employees no later than January 31st, and then submit the transmittal forms for those using the same deadlines: February 28th if mailed, March 31st if e-filed. Okay, now certain employers also have to do an unemployment tax return using Form 940. Got my handwritten notes for this one. If you answer yes to either of the following questions, you must file a Form 940. Did you pay wages of $1,500 or more to employees in any calendar quarter during 2020, well, in this case, 2022 or 2023? And did you have one or more employees for at least some part of a day in any 20 or more different weeks in 2022 or 20 or more different weeks in 2023? And this would count all full-time, part-time, and temporary employees. If the business is a partnership, you don't include partners in that. However, there are a few exceptions. Certain agricultural employees, a federally compliant tribal Indian government employer, compliant federally tax exempt organizations, and state and local government employers. For me, I don't have anyone on payroll. I don't have to pay the federal unemployment tax. However, if I did have an employee for 20 or more weeks in the year, or I paid more than $1,500, so I had an employee maybe for a month that I hired and paid, more than $1,500 for a particular task, then I would owe this tax. All right, now we got our quarterly payroll tax dates that really haven't changed for years, but it's good to review. So if you have employees, you're going to pay the employment tax filing Form 941 by the last day of the month after the close of the quarter. So the quarters are in January through March, April through June, July through September, October through December. Therefore, the month following the first quarter of the year is April. So the first quarterly tax return, employer tax return 941, is due by April 30th, and then the last day of the second quarter, the last month of the second quarter is June. So the next one is due July 31st. The end of the third quarter is September. So then that month's payroll tax filing is due by October 31st. And then the last month of the fourth quarter is December. So you owe the fourth quarter 941 by January 31st of the next year. Okay. If you're self-employed and you're paying self-employment taxes, so that's going to be people working for themselves. And then also in certain partnerships, the partners have to pay self-employment tax, which is why some businesses do opt to be taxed as an S corporation. So the corporation can handle the taxes. But for certain of us who are definitely for sole proprietors and LLCs, that are not taxed as S corporations, and then for certain partnerships, you're going to pay the taxes, your self-employment taxes, on the 15th day of the month following the close of the quarter. So that'll be April 15th, July 15th, October 15th, and January 15th. If you owe payroll, or if you're not sure about how to do payroll taxes, find a tax preparer who can help you set it up or really research it. At minimum, I would find someone who can help you set it up correctly and consult you on how to do it regularly, even if you want to handle it on your own. Once you figure it out, for some of us, like logging in, paying the tax, calculating it, paying it is going to be simple, but it is good to hire someone to help you set it up so that you can do it well yourself. Unfortunately, I know there's going to be some people out there who say, I won't teach you. If I don't get paid for it regularly, I won't do it. But I know you can find someone who can help you get it set up, even if you want to manage it on your own. So those are the general tax filings that we have to look forward to in 2024. There are certain exceptions. When there is a federally recognized declared state of emergency, natural disaster situation in particular regions, you may get an automatic tax extension, tax filing extension. For instance, I live in a city that was affected by tornadoes twice this year, which is unheard of in this region, but it happened. So we automatically, on the irs.gov, it says we automatically have an extension till February 15th for our 2022 tax filings. We have an extension until February 15th. So you can check irs.gov if there was a natural disaster in your area, like a flood. I think in some regions of Louisiana, there was a federally declared state of emergency in a disaster area for a location, a certain region in Louisiana where there was erosion due to the sea. And so they had a lot of issues there. They have an extension too. Those are things to keep in mind that you can look out for as well, to see if you have an even further extension on your tax filings. All right, friends, 2024 tax filings, here we come. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it right. So I always like to include a helpful handout when I can. So in the description of this video, you should find a link to a nifty little checklist that lists the current tax filing deadlines for the state. What I recommend is going to the State Department of Taxation and signing up for the newsletter. I went and signed up for every newsletter I could look for on the IRS website, and I actually have not done that for my state yet, so I need to go and do it myself. Sign up for the State Department. Secretary of State's actually a good idea. Secretary of State newsletter and the Department of Taxation or Revenue or whatever it's called in your state, so that you can get reminders and go look up those tax filing deadlines now for your state. You can just make a note and add it to the checklist that I have included for you. This has been fun. It's been fun for me to share. And oh yeah, also signing up for the IRS one will help you know if there are any little changes to deadlines and things like that. It'll keep you aware. This is a general overview. Things may change, and it's not super likely to change with actual tax filing deadlines, but they could. So these are things that are good to know. Where do you find these forms? You find them on irs.gov or your state website. irs.gov has everything you need to know regarding paying taxes and filing them. Even if it's hard to understand sometimes, the forms are there. All of the information, the vast majority of what I've gone over with you today, I researched it on irs.gov and I brought it to you in an easy to understand packaged video to give you a jump start. So you can always check there. And as always, I'm here if you'd like a biz assessment to make sure you have all your compliance rolled in order. And if you would just like a coaching session on a particular compliance matter, hit me up on bizadvocate.co. If you are finding value in this video, if you found it really helpful, giving you information you need about the tax deadlines, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because every week I'm bringing you a video with the useful, important, essential information you need to help manage your business. I'm here for you, a part of your business tribe. So subscribe so that I can keep bringing you content that's going to help your business win. Thank you so much for connecting with me today. Post in the comments, reach out if you have any questions. I'm here to serve you. Thanks so much for being a part of my biz community and my biz tribe. It was great sharing with you today. I will catch you next week.